Well, hello, beautiful. Welcome to another morning musings where I sit down and just talk about anything that really comes to my mind. And for me, usually in the mornings while I'm getting ready, I watch different podcasts or different YouTube channels that inspire me, or I read a little bit. And a lot of times, these topics that I decide to speak on are, inspiration from something that has come to my mind from maybe watching or reading one of these. Today, I was thinking a lot about how trauma has affected my life and how it continues to affect my life, and how I'm constantly trying to find ways to heal from the effects of it. Although I have forgiven my past and the things that have happened to me in my past, and I've chosen to let go, and let me tell you, that's probably the number one best thing and best choice I've ever made for myself in my life. The effects of the trauma don't just go away when you decide to let go. Yes, you do free yourself from the victim mentality, and you do free yourself from allowing it to play out in your current life. And there is a true liberation to that. Like, my life has completely changed because of that, and I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't be in the mind frame that I am today if it wasn't for letting go. But that doesn't make the effects of trauma just disappear. That is going to probably be something that I work on for the rest of my life. And if you've suffered trauma, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that as I go along on my journey, and the more I learn about how to deal with it, and I start to clue in as to, wow, I didn't realize that certain things that I was doing or feeling was due to something that happened to me as a child, or was an after effect of that, right? And just being aware of those things has changed my life, because I'm able to now try to figure out how I'm gonna, how I'm gonna deal with that going forward. But I wanted to share with you a little bit about some of the ways that I've noticed trauma has affected me. But before I get into that, I want to say that trauma can be, yes, the obvious things that we know as trauma, and those can be like some of the bigger things like abuse and neglect and sexual abuse, rape, loss. Even loss and grief are traumatic in some cases. And yeah, so those things that it could be a car accident, it could be a robbery, any kind of big event that happened to you that was scary or life-changing, or was threatening to you in your survival. And we all know what those bigger traumas are, but studies have now proven that the smaller sort of traumas that we go through throughout our lives can all add up to have the same effect on us, if not more of an effect on us than one larger trauma happening to us. So if you growing up, I'll give you an example. So if you growing up, had your parents divorce, and then after the divorce, things got really messy, and there was a lot of fighting, or one of your parents was MIA, and then you went to school and you got bullied around the same time, and then you lost a pet, and that was your first loss, and then one of your grandparents died, and you started to feel neglected at home, like your parents, your parent that you lived with wasn't home very often, and things like that. So it could have been like an accumulation of little traumas over time that really can mess you up as well. And it could cause actually something called CPTSD. So just like one big traumatic event can cause you PTSD, lots of smaller, consistent traumas over time can also cause something sort of like PTSD, but it's called complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And a lot of people don't seem to be as aware of that one. And if that sounds like something that maybe resonates with you, like you have gone through maybe nothing really big and severe, and so you didn't feel like it was affecting you, but there were a lot of things over time that affected you, this could be affecting your adult life. So don't underestimate the smaller traumas that you could have experienced throughout your life. For me, for example, I have a little bit of both. So many of you know that I was sexually abused as a child, and so that was kind of a bigger one, but it was also one that was reoccurring. So I'm pretty sure it caused CPTSD, because although it probably caused PTSD and CPTSD because it was reoccurring, I also grew up with alcoholic parents, so I experienced a lot of chaos in my life. I experienced bullying at school, and a few other things, growing up, like most of us have, right? I'm not trying to touch on all of that right now. This isn't really why I've made the video. I was inspired to make the video to talk about some of the things that I feel like I'm still dealing with because of the trauma that I have gone through, and maybe someone watching this can relate or can sympathize or feel what I'm saying, and maybe it'll be a light bulb moment for you as well, that it is normal and you aren't alone. But for me, I find that I am constantly stuck in fight or flight mode. So I can so easily get into defense mode or flee mode, as I could be just simply having a disagreement with a friend or a coworker or a client, and if I even feel slightly attacked or like I need to defend myself, I go so quickly into this panic mode that it's almost like my body feels like it's being threatened by a bear, literally. My heart starts to race so fast that it feels like it's gonna jump out of my chest, and all of a sudden my words are all mumbled and I can't get what I want to say out, and I either need to the best case scenario would be for me to just be able to leave the room and go and be alone and do some deep breathing, and sometimes I do EFT tapping to calm myself down. That's best case scenario, but sometimes I'm stuck in that moment, and sometimes I just have word vomit, and I'm right after I say it or a little bit after I say it, I'm why would I even say that? I didn't even think before I spoke. It's just a knee-jerk reaction, and I can't control it. It's literally I'm defending my life in that moment, and it's ridiculous because it could be the most simple disagreement or topic, and it's definitely not something that's threatening my life, but my body goes into that state and that reaction, and it's something that I really dread and I hate, and it is a form of anxiety, but it's definitely a fight or flight response, because I'm ready to fight, and it's not something that needs to be fought about. A person with a normal nervous system could just talk things out normally and not panic, right? And because of the trauma that I've suffered, I so easily go into defense mode, and my body and my mind think that it's in danger. So I'm on very high alert. My nervous system is on very high alert, and trust me, if it's something that I could control, I would totally just control it. I would love to be able to control it, but it's not something that's just so easily controllable. And if it was, obviously I wouldn't be doing it, because it's quite embarrassing when these things do happen, actually. And I feel it's almost like an outer body experience where I'm watching it go down, but I can't control it. I can't stop it. So I don't know if you can relate to this at all, and if you've gone through trauma, if this is something that you're experiencing. But if you do feel me and you do feel that, like, please comment below and let me know, because I want to know that I'm not alone. And I know I'm not alone, but it would be nice to have other people to really like talk about this with. And if there's a way that you found to control this fight or flight reaction or calm down your nervous system, please let me know. I've been doing some research lately, and there's a few things that I would like to try. Recently, I actually tried some breath work for my anxiety, and I mean, the breath work experience was really quite different and quite euphoric and a really cool experience. But I don't know how often I would have to do that, or how many times I would have to do breath work in order to get the benefits to my nervous system long term, right? I'm looking for long term solution to curing this nervous system reaction that I have due to trauma. Another thing that I hear is really good is somatic experiencing, it's called. So that's something that I think I'm going to try out. There's also yoga, specific yoga that's designed to help people who have gone through trauma. I also want to try that. And I mean, I'm not making excuses, but right now I'm so busy with everything going on that I don't really have time to just put all my effort into trying one of these things, because ideally I would like to try one at a time and do it for a few weeks or a few months and on a consistent basis, so that I could really see if it helps or if it works, right? I can't judge that by going once or twice and trying something once or twice. It needs to be consistent. When I do try these things, I will definitely be sharing with you guys, because I really love sharing with others what I learn along my healing journey and my personal growth journey. That is like what drives me right now, is to be able to share what I learn with you, because when I'm feeling great or when I've overcome something, there's no better feeling than overcoming it, other than sharing it with others so that they can also experience the same gifts and the same blessings. So I'm going to continue to do my research and see what else is out there that could maybe help with this fight or flight response. And if you learn anything, or if you've tried anything that works, please, please, please let me know, because this is not something I want to deal with for the rest of my life. And I really hope not. And I really have high hopes that I can heal from it, right? So if you're going through something similar and you're finding that you easily go into fight or flight and your nervous system is all out of whack, I hope that you can find something to help you as well, because I know that it's not fun. It is probably the least fun thing that I have to experience as after effects from the trauma of my past. And I know that if I could get control of that, I would feel so much more empowered and so much more in control. And I also know that a lot of my fears and phobias, like fear of dogs and my unrealistic fear of public speaking, all of these things would probably diminish or be much easier to conquer if I could just get my fight or flight response under control and train my brain so that it knows that when I am up on stage or in front of a group speaking, my life is not in danger. And also, the chances of me getting bit by a dog and dying are very low. So if I could like get that through my subconscious brain, that would be wonderful. Oh, that actually reminds me that another thing that I would like to try for this is RTT therapy. So it's a form of hypnotherapy, rapid transformational therapy. That is another thing that I would really love to try, because it apparently is supposed to help you get down to the subconscious and kind of nip it where it starts, right? And take out the root, because you can't just fix something like this with medication or like on a surface level. This is something that really needs to be delved deep into the subconscious so that you can eliminate it from the root, and so that you can really get rid of it for good. Because I'm not looking for a band-aid. I am looking for a cure or something that really helps me in a deeper way. I'm no longer looking for surface level healing or surface level work. I'm looking for inner work. And I don't know about you, but inner work has been key for my sobriety. It has been key for my success. It has been key for my mental health and my overall well-being. So if you haven't done the inner work, I suggest you do that. And if you want to learn more, please don't hesitate to contact me. I am always here, open and willing to help. Love you.